All right, guys, let's do a video. This time we are going to use my Notion template for this. So we're gonna do a rental. So let's set the stage. So this is gonna be for a person looking at house hack. So for those who don't know, house hacking is buying an investment property that you're going to live in for rent. So let's say you have a two-family, you rent out one unit, you live in the other one. There's a couple perks to that. Number one, you can use your owner-occupied loan, which tend to require less money down. So if you do an FHA loan, those require PMI, private mortgage insurance. So maybe not the best bet. If it works, if the numbers work, it doesn't matter. But sometimes they offer some like a 5% conventional, so you don't have to put in PMI, or maybe you do and they just But point is, we're gonna use a 5% loan for this one. What are the other perks? You get to go into the investment property, owner occupied. For beginner investors and house hackers, like it's like a nice segue, right? Because like you got your first property, but you're scared, but you live in it. So like if it's a two family, at least 50% of it is gonna be pretty safe because you're in it. The other half is it's gonna be a little scary, but at least you get to learn. So I did it. That's how I got into real estate. And it worked out great for me. So I just wanted to show you guys how to break down the numbers. So this is the second time making the video. So sorry if I forget to say specific things, but let's go to the rental calculator. Let's go to new. We're going to use this property because I'm pretty familiar with rents, so I can kind of nip this in the bud pretty quick. So normally I just put in the address here, purchase price 615. We're going to assume that that property is well priced and that's the value of the property just for now, so we don't get into like underwriting, which will then take another like 15 minutes. We're going to use the 5% down like I mentioned. Let's just use 6%. Interest rates are depending on your credit score, but like they're as low as like 5.7 I think I saw. But let's just use 6. 30 years. Property taxes in Jersey tend to be expensive. Let's check it out. 12,255. 12,255. 12,255. Insurance, 1,300 give or take. Closing costs. So this one, in Jersey, it's about 11,000 you're gonna spend, but that number can vary a lot. You normally, when you're like in the process of like getting the loan approved and all, they'll give you like a projected closing cost number, and you can kind of have an idea. But for now, we'll use 11,000. That's just based on my experience. Estimated rehab, we're gonna assume that this property is in good shape, so we're just gonna say 5,000 just for things that we can't really see in the photo. So like, let's see, yeah, house is good, nice, good enough. Like it's actually pretty nice. Yeah, super nice house. Weird kitchen, but that's okay. This was probably a single family and then they converted it. That's normal. Okay, so let's keep going. Maintenance, this is gonna be annual. So this is also, there's no right answer. You ask 10 people how they go about keeping like maintenance, a maintenance cost or like a budget. You can do 5% of gross rents and just like have like some money put out to the side. What I used to do, I started with 5%, and then I realized this is overkill. Like I kept adding more and more money, and I was like, I don't need to have this much money, especially these are just repairs, and this is not CapEx like the roof. That's different. This is specifically just the just maintenance and stuff. So I like to do like 10,000. Like I said, it varies, but it depends on the condition of the home, right? If you have a roof coming up, then you want to try to put in as much money as possible. It's coming. Let's say the house is in pretty good shape, maybe a couple things here and there. Just start with 10,000. Again, it's just comfort level. I don't want to tell you like it has to be this. That's silly. Other expenses, I don't know. Let's just put 2,000 for like landscaping, snow removal. Vacancy rate in Jersey is pretty low because we have New York next door that just constantly gets us a lot of people that want more space. They move across, but they still work in New York. So property management. So before you hire a property manager, like it just depends. If you're super busy, you have no choice. All right, I get it. I would recommend you do it yourself just so you can see the basic things needed to manage a unit well. Because you think because they're a property manager that like they know what they're doing, and they don't. So if you can have an idea, maybe like your processes are terrible or whatever, but at least you have an idea of what makes a good property manager, because you kind of know, then you'll have a better idea in terms of hiring. Let's move on. Property management. So I'm gonna leave it empty. I'm gonna say I 100% recommend you manage it yourself for starters. Now let's look at monthly rent. So there's a couple ways to go about monthly rent. There's like stuff like rentometer will give you a ballpark, bigger pockets. If any property you see for rent, just call the landlord and ask. Be like, hey, how much you normally? Most landlords are willing to help. Another thing you can do, which I don't advise, is go on Facebook, create a fake listing before you buy the property, put up a number, and see how many hits you get off of it. If you get no hits, chances are you're asking too much. If you get too much hits, then you're asking too little, and that'll give you like a real life example of like, okay, this is kind of what I can expect. That's not nice because you don't have a real unit. Not cool. If you're gonna do that, at least respond immediately saying, hey, apologies, this unit is no longer available. So let's go monthly rent. Let's see. I'm not gonna go too hard with this. I just want to show you guys a quick breakdown to see if this is a deal or not. But I think, yeah. So this is a 3-2. So we're gonna assume it's a 2-1 and a 1-1. Could be a 3-1 and a studio. We don't know. But let's just say it's a 2-1 and a 1-1. I personally don't like one bedrooms. That attracts the transient community, like people that are just like, I'm here for a year, then I'm out, which is annoying because then you got to show the unit, you got to prep the unit, all that stuff. 3 bedrooms is like the Goldilocks zone. If you do 4 or 5, you start now attracting like people that don't have a place to stay. They're gonna stay over there because this person always has an extra room. So you got people you don't know coming into the house. It gets weird, especially if you're living there. If you have kids, right? You want some kind of consistency. What else? 2 bedrooms I'll deal with. Right? That's almost enough space if you have like a couple and they have a kid. They can grind it out maybe until the kid maybe gets older, or you grind it out long term. I lived in a 2-bedroom with my 2 brothers. It was fine. So it just depends. But that 2-3 bedroom is like kind of where I want to be. So let's see what rents are for a 1-1. Let's just say 1,800 for easy math. Compared to this one, let's see what 2 bedrooms are doing. Comping apartment, it's the same thing as comping houses, guys. So let's just say 2,200. So 22 and 18, that's what, 3,000, 4,000. So let's just say $4,000. So monthly rent, let's say it's $4,000. What else? Okay, that's it. So let's see what we got. So monthly mortgage is 3,502. Your annual cash flow is 21. You're losing $21,000 your first year every year. Annual gross income 48,000. Your cap rate, honestly, that's not important. That's more for like commercial. I might actually remove this. Your cash on cash return, that's a percent, is on the initial money to get into the deal. You lost 47% of it. So again, that's fine. Down payment 30,000. Effective gross income, I believe. Yep. Your 50% rule, not looking good. Loan amount, monthly cash flow. What else? Net operating income. I'm trying to see like what you guys really need if you're starting out. This is for more people like deep in the weeds of it already. This 1% rule. So this is actually pretty important. So a good way to kind of filter, like let's say you go on Zillow and there's like 30 properties, like where do I start? If you just go with the 1% rule, that just means, can you get 1% of the purchase price in terms of rent? So if a house is 600,000, can you get 6,000 monthly in rent? If the answer is yes, or you're close to it, most likely it's at least kind of a deal. It's like a good filter. So if you got like 20 properties, just go to which ones are like, go underwrite the ones that are closest to the 1% rule and work your way back. That's my recommendation. Um, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much it on my end. Just wanted to show you guys how I do it normally. Yeah. All right, I'm up.